Beneath the blistering heat of the Giza Plateau, past the endless stream of tourists and centuries of excavation, something may have stirred. In March 2025, a team of researchers claimed to have uncovered what could be one of the most significant archaeological discoveries in modern history: an entire underground complex hidden beneath Egypt's pyramids. Using radar technology, the team described vast chambers, spiraling staircases, long corridors, even what they believed to be an ancient water system buried deep beneath the very stones that have stood for over 4,000 years. It's a claim that has reignited a firestorm of speculation. Could this be the long-rumored Hall of Records, the mythical library said to be sealed beneath the sand since the fall of Atlantis, housing the lost world? The research team, led by Professor Curato Malanga, used ground-penetrating radar to scan beneath the plateau, revealing what they interpret as organized structural patterns: columns, rooms, interlinking corridors. But the excitement was quickly met with skepticism. Prominent Egyptologists, including Dr. Zaki Hawass, dismissed the findings as unscientific, even dangerous. The study has not been peer-reviewed. The visuals presented to the public were AI-generated mock-ups, and Malanga himself is no stranger to controversy, having made past claims involving alien abductions and fringe science. So, what are we really looking at here? Is this genuine evidence of a vast forgotten network beneath one of the most studied archaeological sites on Earth, or simply the latest in a long line of misinterpretations and myth-chasing? Let's take a closer look. In the ever-shifting sands at the base of the Great Pyramids of Giza, one of the most extraordinary claims in recent archaeological history began not with a shovel or a dig, but with a scan. A team of international researchers, led by Professor Curato Malanga of the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi of the University of Strathclyde in Scotland, set out to investigate a possibility that had lingered on the fringe of mainstream history for decades: that beneath the world's most iconic monuments, there might exist something hidden, something vast, deliberate, and long forgotten. Their mission was rooted in technology, not myth. Rather than rely on excavation, they employ synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, a cutting-edge imaging technique capable of penetrating the Earth's surface and reflecting back data from the structures buried beneath. SAR is often used in geological surveys and even planetary exploration. Its ability to detect subsurface formations from a distance makes it one of the most advanced tools in modern science. Now, it was being turned on one of the oldest 10 most enigmatic sites on the planet. The team's goal was simple in theory, yet monumental in scope: to map the subsurface beneath the Giza Plateau and see if the Earth itself was keeping secrets no one had yet seen. And almost immediately, the scans began returning anomalies. At first, the data resembled what many radar scans tend to show: irregular shapes, density changes, a few possible voids. But then came the patterns: linear alignments, symmetrical angles, and then something more: 8 enormous vertical shafts, each descending far deeper than any known chamber on the plateau. According to the data, these cylindrical shafts extended downwards for over 2,100 feet, nearly twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. Their scale was staggering. But it wasn't just the depth, it was the uniformity. The shafts appeared intentionally shaped, their walls too smooth, too consistent to be natural fault lines or collapsed wells. This was design, not coincidence. The team was stunned. Vertical structures of this depth and size beneath the pyramids were not just unexpected, they were unprecedented. But that wasn't all. The SAR data revealed something even more astonishing. Around the perimeter of several of these shafts were spiral-like formations, gently curling downward in an elegant, methodical motion. As the scans became more detailed, these formations began to resolve themselves into what could only be interpreted as spiral staircases, winding downward along the walls of the shafts like ancient corkscrews into the earth. This detail changed everything. Staircases suggest access. They imply intention, construction, use. The team speculated that these spirals may have once provided physical passage deep beneath the surface. Their scale, massive, broad, and uniform, suggested they weren't symbolic or decorative. These were built to be used. And the depth they reached implied a descent into something significant. If true, the mental image becomes almost cinematic. Ancient figures, perhaps priests, engineers, or initiates, making their way down those spiraling paths by torchlight, vanishing into the stone corridors of a subterranean world lost to memory. And then the chambers came into view. At the base of 2 of the shafts, The radar revealed structures unlike anything yet known on the plateau, cube-shaped chambers, 80 meters, wide on each side. These were not narrow corridors or crude caves. These were enormous rooms, constructed perhaps with mathematical precision. Each chamber was almost the size of a modern city block, perfectly square, with clear edges and consistent depth. It was, as the researchers described, as though someone had carved a geometric vault directly into the living bedrock. But for what? Theories flooded the research team as they examined the data. Such chambers could have held tombs. They could have served as massive ceremonial spaces, temples hidden from a world above. Or, in the most speculative interpretations, they could have been ancient libraries. Vaults for something far more esoteric, sacred knowledge protected from war, decay, and even memory. As the scans continued, the discoveries deepened. In areas surrounding the main shafts and cube chambers, 5 additional structures began to take shape. These weren't isolated rooms. They were multi-level, overlapping, and interconnected through what appeared to be passageways and corridors. Some paths ran straight, others curved gently toward junction points. What emerged was a map not of ruins, but of a layout, a system, a network. This was no random cluster of chambers, it was a design. And from the layout alone, it appeared to have been meticulously planned. The proximity of these underground structures to the pyramids above wasn't accidental either. Several of the chambers aligned almost exactly with surface features, suggesting that whoever built above may have also built below. This wasn't just a hidden set of tunnels under the desert. It was an extension of the Giza complex itself. This led to one of the most compelling ideas of the entire investigation, that the Giza Plateau may have functioned as a two-layered system. Monuments and temples above and a mirrored infrastructure below. If true, it would radically reframe our understanding of the site. The pyramids might not have been isolated tombs or standalone religious symbols, but part of a deeper, interconnected design, a surface visible to the world, and a hidden system known only to a select few. And this vast system of shafts, spiral staircases, chambers, and corridors might have been built to preserve something, or protect it. Perhaps it was functional, perhaps it was spiritual, perhaps it was something in between. What made the findings so gripping wasn't just the scale of what had been discovered, it was the silence that surrounded it. There were no records, no maps, no historical mentions. These structures, if they truly exist as the scans suggest, had somehow evaded detection for thousands of years. Buried beneath one of the most studied archaeological sites on Earth, they had remained hidden, until now. Researchers, careful in their statements, have not yet confirmed the material composition or age of the structures. That will require further study. But they have noted the stark, repeating geometry and deliberate alignment, which so far shows no signs of being natural formations. To those looking from the outside, the implications are staggering. A hidden world beneath Giza, massive in scale, deliberate in design, and completely undocumented in the historical record. The very idea challenges everything we thought we knew about the plateau. It raises more questions than answers. Who built it? When? Beneath the stone and silence, another element also stirred, one that wasn't solid, but fluid. As the SAR scans continued to unravel the layers beneath the Giza Plateau, the researchers began to notice something else, hidden not in the shape of walls or chambers, but in the pathways that ran between them, subtle indentations, narrow channels, patterns that didn't fit the architecture of stairs or structural support. Instead, they resembled something else entirely. Water systems, running like invisible veins through the substructure. These linear forms appeared to trace the movement of water either through carved channels or naturally sustained conduits adapted to purpose. Some followed the natural slope of the terrain. Others cut sharply through bedrock in ways that suggested intelligent design. These weren't scattered, random, or incidental. They appear to link many of the key underground features: spiral staircases, the large cube chambers, and the multi-level structures, as though water once played a central, integrated role in whatever this hidden system had been. For archaeologists, the presence of water systems, especially beneath the desert sands, always raises eyebrows. In ancient Egypt, water wasn't just a life source, it was mythology, cosmology, and functionality rolled into one. The Nile was not merely a river, it was the axis of civilization, agriculture, commerce, and belief. And so, when signs of ancient water channels appear near a structure as important as the pyramids, they aren't ignored. The researchers hypothesized that this network of underground waterways may have been used to connect the subterranean spaces to the Nile itself or to reservoirs that once existed closer to the plateau before climate and geography shifted. If true, these channels could have been part of a larger infrastructure designed for the movement of building materials, food, ritual goods, or people. It's not a new idea. Some Egyptologists have long speculated that water transport may have played a crucial role in pyramid construction, easing the movement of massive stones from quarries to the building site. But this discovery pointed not just to the surface-level movement of cargo, but to a sustained, engineered water system beneath the ground itself that alone would be remarkable. But beyond practicality, the symbolic weight of water in ancient Egyptian cosmology adds another layer to the mystery. In the ancient Egyptian creation myth, the universe began as a boundless, formless ocean of darkness, none, the primordial waters. From this chaos emerged the first mound of earth, and upon it, the god Adam created the first gods and set the world into motion. Water, then, wasn't just an element, it was the origin of all things. To return to the waters was to return to the void, to the beginning.